Hello, this is the Daily Forex Report for October 31st. We are looking at the US-Japanese yen pair first. This particular pair closed down on Friday, didn't break our previous support level, but did gap below it. We are looking for that to retrace. Look for this pair to potentially go as high as 80, 85 and hit some resistance there, possibly moving down and hitting support at 80.00. Now, let's take a look at the Euro-USD pair. This pair closed down, but just by a little bit on Friday. It did gap up 44 pips. Look for that to retrace by the end of the week. We are looking for it to potentially go as high as 141.14, possibly as low as 137.38. Look for some resistance around 140.25, and look for some support around 138.25. Okay, now the pound US dollar pair. This pair moved higher on Friday, overall moving sideways, did gap at the open. Look for it to potentially go as high and hit resistance at 160.66, possibly moving down and hitting support at 159.50. Okay, now the US Swiss. This particular pair closed up on Friday, but just by a little bit. We are looking for this gap that it created of 19 pips at the open to fill. Look for it to potentially go as high as 0.9963, possibly as low as 0.9714. Look for some resistance around 0.9930, possibly hitting support around 0.9775. Now we do have some news announcements. The Chinese are releasing their PMI manufacturing for October at 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. The consensus on that is that it has not changed. It has not changed from 53.8. We have the U.S. releasing their SMI manufacturings for October at 10 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. Consensus on that one's that it's moved slightly down from 54.4 to 54.0. Also have the Bank of Japan releasing their minutes tomorrow at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. No consensus on that. We also have the Reserve Bank of Australia releasing their rate decision for November at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. Consensus on that one is that they're going to hold rates at 4.5%. Okay, now all four pairs gapped, by the way. If you noticed, the largest of those being the Euro-USD. I want to talk about gaps for a minute, just to kind of go over some things. When I look to trade gaps, one, I look for there to be a sizable gap. If you have, a 1, even up to 5 pips worth of movement, it's not sufficient enough really to trade. You need it to gap over the spread. And so you take the spread, which can be anywhere from 2 to 5, and then you need to add on to that probably at least 5 pips from there. So you're looking for something between 7 and 10, maybe even more. 15, 30 pips would be probably even better. And what I look to do is when I have a gap, I look to go in the opposite direction. So if we get a gap, the gap's up, I'm going to look to sell. Okay, if I get a gap, the gap's down, I'm going to look to buy. So that's what I look to do. I look for the gap to fill to the previous Friday's closing price. That actually happens 89.1% of the time across the four majors by Friday at the close. It happens in the probably high 60s, around 68% by Monday, at Monday's close. So 24 hours later, you're going to see that over half fill that gap very, very quickly. Okay. Another thing I like to do with gaps is I like to drop down to a lower time frame. You can see, you can get a little bit better idea of what's going on the lower you go. Here's a 5-minute chart on the Euro-USD. You can see obviously that we had an open here, closed down. We've tagged that low once, twice, and now 3 times, or very close to 3 times. So we have an area here of support. And what's important about support is if it's broken, then you can look for it to come on down. So at this point we have an area of resistance where the price hasn't gone higher here, and we have an area of support. Those two are about 10 pips apart. Now we are on the 5-minute, so it may be you may want to back out a little bit and give it a little more time prior to making any judgment calls. But nonetheless, putting a sell order, down around the 139.50 mark, or maybe the 139.49 mark would be even better, because around our round numbers, if you recall, around 150 we can get some retracement. So 139.48 may be a good place to look for a sell. That would be below this area of support that we've had, below 1.3950 by 2 pips, and look for it to come on down to this area. Well, I hope that helps you with some gap trades, potentially trading the gaps when they do occur. And until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.